Eastwick is a neighborhood that sits inside the city but outside of the city landscape in terms of what the area looks like. People have grass, people have trees, have access to a wildlife reserve. So it's pretty peaceful out here.
During the night, it was the August 4th, the night before, it was real windy, and it felt as though my roof was going to come off. It just was like real, woo, woo. You could hear it. It felt like the windows were going to crash in. I was like, what is going on? So in the morning when I woke up, it was just all this water downstairs. And I think I had left clothes in the washing machine overnight. So I would go downstairs and I was like, oh my God. I got down to the third step and the water was everywhere.
It was a nice summer day. It had rained earlier that day, early that morning, but it didn't seem to be anything that was abnormal. We had received the storm notices and all of that sort of thing, but it was nothing abnormal. So, I come back downstairs and I see the water is, at that point, it's just barely up to the top of the curb. By 118, the water was coming in the front side. So within 20 minutes, it had come up the driveway and it was starting to come in. We got the towels and stuff and we had put that down. And we were trying to unplug things, move things upstairs, do whatever we could to try to salvage as much as possible so that, nothing got damaged. We had no idea that it would be about a little bit more than 2 feet of water in our living room, the whole first floor.
I recall watching the news, and they were talking about the anticipated tropical storm and flood waters. I don't recall hearing anything about residents of Eastwick get to higher ground. That was never said. That information was never given. And then as I continued to watch the news, then they began to do special reporting. And special reporting stating that the Eastwick community was being hit by the tropical storm. And they began showing pictures from the helicopter view of the inches and feet of water that this community took on. I remember watching them take people out of the second floors of their homes, the second floor windows. And after the rain stopped and after the flood subsided, I remember getting in my car and driving as far as I could to the area that was impacted to see what service I could be.
Here in Eastwick, after Isaias happened in August 2020, a number of partners were out, including volunteers from different churches and so forth, helping people clean up their homes. But after months pass, weeks, months pass, you find by partnering with community leaders like Carolyn, who we saw earlier, you learn about ongoing unmet needs. So that is where my role really kicks in. As part of the leadership of some of the other partner agencies, we work together in the VOAD, Voluntary Organizations Active in Disaster, and help kind of just bring those needs to light and connect people with case managers like Stacy Ford, who was mentioned. She's an employee of Lutheran Congregational Services right now, to help people navigate their long-term recovery through really complicated challenges they face related to insurance, applying for other resources, and so forth. So just trying to connect people with case managers who walk them through their recovery so we can create resources to help families recover.
A lot of things we just saw floating and outside the car, the cars were basically covered. You could barely see the top of them. When we looked out the back, it was like rapids. You go out on a rafting, whitewater rafting, and you hit the heart. That's what that area back there moving. The water was coming down. It did a lot of damage. Like I said, this whole first floor had to be replaced, and there were some things that we didn't know, or I didn't know to even look at. The hot water heater went. I lost the majority of my appliances. There was holes that were in the back of the house, which still hasn't been fixed. I still have to get that repaired because the insurance wouldn't cover that.
After they fixed the roof, um, I still had no heat because the money they gave me for the family room was going to get the heater and the hot water tank and all that. I couldn't get it because I had to fix the roof first. So now they have fixed this. They rewired my house for the electric because all that was messed up. They rewired the house. They gave me a new heater, a new central air system, and they put the central air up, elevated it so it wouldn't, if we ever have a flood again, it wouldn't get messed up. And also, they're fixing up my house as we go along, and I'm very, very appreciative of that.
I think it's a godsend. It really is to communities like Eastwick and there's other communities that they're serviced, that they serve. I think they're extraordinary people. It really is exemplary of the good that is in this world. Not everybody is mad, not everybody or bad. Not everybody turns a deaf ear or a blind eye to situations. And there are people that are standing there willing to lend a hand to give people a leg up to help recover, from the situations that they're in. I think groups like BOED are needed. They are necessary just to help people to recover, to get back on their feet.
I think the most important thing about this neighborhood is that it's always good to remind people that you're not forgotten and that you are worthwhile and people are hearing you, and that there are people out here in the city and the surrounding area that support people living independently and safely in their homes.
I am 100% certain that without Lutheran Disaster Response and our partners, 25 families in Eastwick would still be without heat and/or hot water today. You've met the people of Eastwick and heard their stories. You can be part of their recovery story and the story of hundreds of other storm survivors in our 5-county region by donating your gifts and talents to repair so many lives. You can call me directly at 267-464-7740 or visit us at LutheranCongregationalServices.org.